Caution! This podcast is naughtier than a mischievous cat hopped up on catnip with a laser pointer. Listener discretion is advised. And your episode begins in 3, 2, 1. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to the Lusty Library. We are your dirtiest dames. I am your host this week. This is Lexxs, and sitting with me at this beautiful beach, looking longingly out at the water while we speak to you.
With sand in many different orifices where it does not belong.
Yeah. Only if you're unlucky.
What? Only if you're unlucky.
Mother Nature has deemed you to be unlucky and has sandblasted you in the coochie.
Mother Nature has deemed you unworthy.
Yes.
All right, so in the room with me today is the dirty birdie. Our birdie.
Oh, dirty bird.
Dirty
Has
bird.
it taken us this long to say dirty bird?
It has.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's happening.
Good job. Yeah.
Only 8 episodes.
Yeah. Wow. Damn.
And passing the pitcher of cocktails around is our lovely Miss Joey.
I've been hitting the pitcher a little too much today.
Picture.
So today we are talking about something completely the opposite of the beach. We are doing Breakout by Kylie Kent and are getting on the ice for hockey romance.
Fucking hockey romance. When we started this podcast and I started learning about all the subgenres in this fucking world, I was like, oh, okay, mafia romances. All right. Cool. And then there's, all right, vampires. All right, fairies. Okay. Yep. Great. Historical. Yeah. Okay, cool. Hockey.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hockey.
Sports romance is a gigantic subgenre. It's gigantic.
Blowing my mind. But can we also just talk about how this book is a hockey mafia?
You're welcome.
Mafia.
So this is why I picked it. I also was completely blown away that, like, hockey romance? Are you kidding me? I didn't know. Before this podcast, I was all about romantasy, historical fiction. That was sort of my thing. And I love that I have the opportunity to explore all these different things. So I'm running down the list. We've compiled this list. We've done all of this research and gotten recommendations for everybody from, like, our grocer to our friends. And I saw one on the list that it was hockey romance. I'm like, yeah, all right, I haven't read any of those. I want to read that. Hockey mafia. Give me the mashup. I want it.
Oh, you wee little babes. We have just hit the tip of the iceberg with some of these subgenres. I think you two are in for a wild ride if hockey blew your mind.
I mean, I know that there are a lot of really bizarre books that have been written recently, and those don't count. Milking Farm doesn't count right now.
No, but still there is firefighter romance.
Oh, but see, that I get.
Motorcycle club romance.
That I get,
Which,
too.
Maybe a Joey pick down the road here.
Oh.
But I get it. I'm like, okay, so some folks fantasize about actors. Some people, it's, musicians and bands and stuff like that. So why wouldn't professional athletes have their fans as well? I was a big hockey person for a long time. Big Bruins fan, watched for many years. Kind of stopped watching once my team captain had to retire.
Oh.
I'm going to cry a little.
So,
Yeah.
Lex, I found it funny. We were talking about this, and after you had read the book, you kind of went down the rabbit hole, didn't you? Because it had been a couple of years since you watched hockey.
I think, about 5. Like 2019 is probably when I last followed the Bruins and went back and was like, where are all my boys? They've all retired. Char's gone. Bergeron's gone. Tuukka Rask is gone.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Tuuk.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Chara.
Mm.
Anyway, we digress. But all right, yeah, let's take on the hockey thing. So that was going to be my question, hockey, yes or no for you guys. Like, are you just going along for the ride because I said, hey, this is my book, or are you there too?
I mean, I have been to a few hockey games in my life. I love blood on the ice. I love a hockey fight. So I was into this book for blood on the ice, and we got it.
We did.
I gotta say, I have very limited amount of non-negotiable subgenres I will read. There is somewhere I'm just like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, do not want to go back for a round 2 or even a round 1.5. So I think the coolest part about this was blending 2 subgenres together that you really don't think would fit, mafia and hockey. But they kind of do, don't they?
Oh, she made it blend seamlessly.
Super entertaining.
Yes.
So, listeners, let me give you a little bit of a synopsis. Liam, that feeling you get skating across the ice, legs burning, adrenaline pumping, it's unmatched, much like my current stats. Hockey has always been my sole focus. Getting to the playoffs, winning the Stanley Cup, that's my number one goal. I won't let the fact that I've been traded to a new team derail my future. Nor will the daughter of the so-called King of Canada, a.k.a. my new boss, Aaliyah, the gorgeous, feisty brunette who's just been assigned as my official babysitter. Although, when you're trapped in a room in temptation like her, there's only so much restraint one man can have. I probably should have listened to the rumors about the owner of the Vancouver Knights being Canada's most ruthless and feared mob boss. Because when he finds out what I've done with his daughter, it's not just my career on the chopping block. It's my neck. Both I'm willing to risk. For her. To save her. Aaliyah. When your whole life is mapped out for you, choices aren't a freedom you're granted. You do whatever it is you're told to do. So when my father tells me he needs me to watch over one of his new recruits, even though spending all my free time with a cocky-ass hockey player is the last thing I want to be doing, I agree. Why? Because nobody says no to Jacob Monroe and lives to tell the tale. Not even me. I mean, how hard can it be? It's one guy, a hockey player. Liam King, an athlete with a physique carved out of stone and a smirk not only melts my panties off, but sets my whole body on fire. An inferno I can't help but give into, and a desire I can't help but feed. He's not part of the plan. He's temporary. Dropping in and passing by. I just need to get my heart to understand that I can't keep him, no matter how much I might want to.
What was her plan then? Like, did she have a plan for her life?
She's supposed to inherit the team.
Right. Okay.
Because she's the youngest, right?
Right.
So
she's the girl of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not going to do the dirty work.
3 older brothers.
Right.
One's on the team.
Yep.
Grayson.
Yep.
Middle one's going to college, probably for finance. Third one's taking over dad's other side of the business.
Right.
So her plan was to take over the team.
Got it. Yeah, that does click.
Yeah.
She sure did take over the team now, didn't she?
over the team.
With that pussy.
Oh, but she didn't give it up so fast. She took this job very seriously.
She did.
So her dad says to her, listen, I need you to do me a favor. We just spent beaucoup dollaroonies on this hockey player from another team, and he's a bad boy. He's a bad, bad boy with a bad reputation. I need you to babysit the ever-loving crap out of him. She's like, nope.
He was like, I've literally never asked you for anything ever. This is the only thing I've ever asked you to do. You need to do this thing. And she was like, oh, yeah, you're
Fine,
right.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. How many times? Okay, Daddy. Fine, Daddy. Ugh. Really serious synopsis, right? Sounds dire. The opening of this book, I was not expecting.
No, it was
Like out of the gate,
Yeah.
slapstick. Funny. What did you think?
Oh, I thought it was freaking hilarious. Here's this big, brooding hockey bad boy player afraid of motherfucking spiders.
Mhm.
That was great.
Okay. And basically is killing a spider naked with his hockey stick.
Yes.
That was great.
It was hilarious. And then the two of them jump up on the coffee table to get away from the spider. And of course, what happens?
It breaks.
It breaks. Asses go flying on the floor. Then he scoops her up and he brings her to the kitchen counter to get away from a spider. It was absolutely hilarious.
Naked.
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 Lots of naked.
So when we are introduced to him, I absolutely loved it because we're like, oh my God, this guy is so fucking cocky because he's all like, come in the shower with me and see what's going on. Like the instant he's met her, he's already like, oh, you're here to be the babysitter? Well, obviously you're going to fuck me.
Yeah.
Like immediately. What an asshole. But then he's like, oh, I'm afraid of a spider. I'm going to kill it with a hockey stick. And she's like, you're going to kill it with a hockey stick? And he's like, well, the only other thing that I can work better than my dick is a hockey stick. So yeah, I'm going to kill it with a hockey stick.
Course correction.
Uh-huh.
He faces his demon spider for her.
It's true.
And so her three brothers won't come and fucking shoot up the joint to kill the spider and kill him because he's naked.
Right.
Yep. Because the three older brothers are overprotective.
Yeah.
They all keep saying, you're a virgin, right? And she's like, yeah.
Oh, no. They're not asking. They're like, you're a virgin. It's a statement of fact. There is no question mark on the end of that. You're a virgin. And she's like, well, you're a virgin.
And yeah, one of them's like, not listening, not listening. This is what happens. And she tries to assert her adulthood and makes some kind of statement in front of her dad. And her brother's like, I'll sleep with whoever I want to. If I want to fuck the whole team, I will. And her dad says, come here for a second. See that ice? Takes her over to the rink, looks at the ice, and is like, yeah.
Anybody that touches you, I'm going to paint that whole ice red with their blood.
Putting in that mafia thing right away.
Right away. Power.
Birdie, you must have had stars in your eyes.
Well, but now our roles are switched. The main character with the mafia connection is the female.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting.
Aaliyah.
And we get to see the question that we asked ourselves while reading Ruthless Creatures was, would we actually continue to date a guy if we found out he was in the mafia? Mm-hmm. And we were like, yeah, maybe. Or I don't know, maybe not. So Liam fucking King has answered here his answer, which is a resounding yes.
He's like, worth it.
Damn. Yeah. So Liam is in Camp Mafia now.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Liam, very cocky at first. The first chapter, I was, again, rolling my eyes. I can't help it. The slapstick of it. He's so cocky. She sounds like a brat. And very, very quickly, you get the tragic backstories. And I'm like, all right, okay, I'm invested now. I understand why you are the way you are. Did you have any kind of reaction like that?
I think they just kind of fell in their stereotypical roles, right? Liam is top ranked in his sport. The only reason why he's not on his team is because he did something stupid. So, of course, he has a cocky attitude about it. He's a professional hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aaliyah has been protected her entire life and been doted on by 4 men after the age of 8 moving forward.
Yeah.
So she fell in that role herself. I think now in the book, she's age 24 and she's like, I want to figure out who I am on my own. But I still have like 5 rolling Louis Vuitton luggages of baggage that come with me based on my past experience.
I was going to say, both literally and
figuratively. But I think the baggage they both carried really gave a human feeling to what was going on and who they were now.
100%. So, Birdie, how did you feel about the backstory?
So the backstory was everything. It was the whole book. I mean, I really like the cutesy romance part. I really like the cat and mouse game where he was trying to catch her and she didn't want to be caught. And so that was all very cute. And he's cocky and she's pretty with her closet that's color coordinated and her Jimmy Choos and all that shit.
Love that part.
Yeah. So she's got like the whole mafia princess thing down pat. But then you find out about her backstory and you're like, oh, okay, now we're talking here. She's got a scar up her arm. Oh, what's up with that?
Which we usually just assume
Right.
that it's a suicide scar.
Right. And she is about to text Liam, my mother tried to kill me. And then she unsends it.
I was going to say, yeah, she sends it and then immediately panics and goes,
Unsend. We find out like way later in the book that he did actually see it, but he never brought it up with her and let her bring it up on her own.
Yeah.
Which it rounded out his character so much too. It told us so much more about how he's actually a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to talk the talk and swing his dick around and stuff, like both literally and figuratively. But he's actually kind of a really nice guy.
But he said that to her towards the beginning of the book. Oh, are you afraid to find out that I'm actually a good guy?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
They find out he got traded off his team because he beat the shit out of his coach. It's all over tabloids with supposedly drugs and sex. And we find out later that he beat up the coach because the coach slept with his mom and talking shit later about basically that she was a slut and stuff. And so he just, nobody disrespects my mom, even though he's got a complicated relationship with her. Family's family.
Right.
So, and then we find out that like the drug pictures, like that, what was it?
He's never touched drugs. There may have been coke there, but it was staged. They were doing it to get a better picture to sell to the tabloids.
The Puck Bunnies.
Yes, the
Puck bunnies.
Which I immediately was like, wait, is this a fucking thing in all of these books? Puck Bunnies? Or is this just something that Kylie Kent invented?
Each individual sport has what is considered a groupie. A puck bunny is a term used to describe a female ice hockey fan whose interest in the sport is perpetuated to be primarily motivated by sexual attractions to the player rather than enjoyment of the game itself.
So am I a marching band bunny?
First of all, I would not be shouting that from any rooftop in any instance, any way, shape, or form.
Now I need to see if there's romance novels written for that out there just for you. Because, you know, what is it, Rule 34?
Yep, Rule 34. God, that's amazing.
Oh, this is fun. Oh, damn Google, I love you. The things you teach me in life. In similar terminology, a female fan who hangs around rodeo cowboys is called a buckle bunny.
Buckle bunny.
Buckle bunny.
Ooh, that's got a nice ring to it.
Cowboy book here at rodeo. I mean, fun one.
So anyway, we find out that Liam fucking King, we'll get back to that later, is actually a decent guy.
Right, right. But he hasn't really wanted to dispel the rumors because it would give away that his mother slept with the coach. So he can't dispel the rumors.
Right, because she's still married, and he actually likes the guy she's married
He finally likes, what is his name, Gary.
Yeah.
He loves Gary. So he's pissed off at his mom.
Yeah.
So, yes, the backstories absolutely rounded out the whole book because without them, it would be very shallow.
Yes.
The pool would be very shallow. It would just be cat and mouse and a bunch of cocks.
Yeah. And one of the romance tropes I really like is a hurt comfort thing where, you know, one of the characters has something, either it's like a physical injury or it's a mental health thing, and the other character is supportive for them. So that nurturing piece.
Yeah.
And if it's particularly a scoundrel who has that ability to be that, sign me up.
I mean, you know I love a bad boy. So
you love a bad boy?
And I loved the way he would just see red and, you know, the gloves are off and you're
very protective.
off.
It's like when he put his laser beams on her, he was like, oh no, you're mine.
Yeah.
Who's going near you? Who's touching you? So very similar to what her brothers were doing.
I was almost like, is he a little too much? So there's one quote I was like, whoa, like that's real possessive. That's almost over the line for me. She's like, you don't know who I've slept with. And he's like, nor do I ever want to know. I screw up my face. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter anyway. Your cunt is now molded to the shape of my dick. I've imprinted myself inside you, Aaliyah Monroe. This pussy is mine, only mine.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
Wait a minute. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
What, do you not remember that quote?
No, I remember that quote, but the fact that you think it's a little too much and not just right.
Yeah, it's a bit much. Like,
no.
even
no.
when I...
It's like marking territory. Like,
Yeah.
there's a difference
Yes.
between, like,
Ownership.
marking
Yes.
as far as, like, a little love bite or, I like bite marks, but, like, your cunt is now molded to my
Okay,
dick.
so if he was trying to control her completely, you can't wear this, you can't do that, you can't do that. I think there's a line where it becomes a little bit crazy. Based on everything he was doing and how aggressively he was going after her, I think that's just right. He's saying, that's it. You're not going to have any other men. You belong to me. But that doesn't mean he doesn't belong to her. When it's reciprocal, I think you're fine. When it's like, you belong to me and I belong to whoever the fuck I want to, that's a completely other story.
Okay, fair
All right.
enough. And
All right.
to your point, she's looking for that level.
Yeah.
Because she says the thing about, like, she wants the ride or die love of Harley Quinn and Joker.
Yep.
Which also, I'm like, you're in little need of some help, my dear.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yes.
sexy to you.
Right.
But I also understand that's sexy to some folks.
Yeah.
So they're right for each other,
Mm-hmm.
which works.
But she tried to deny her attraction to him for the longest time, right?
Right.
Because she doesn't have enough self-esteem to think she's good enough. She's unlovable,
Mhm.
is what she believes from some of the trauma that happened with her mom. This was one of my favorite statements within the book that I thought was actually really funny. So this is Aaliyah, and she's thinking about Liam, and she goes, no matter how much I try to tell myself he doesn't affect me, I can't deny the attraction. My brain is on board with living in denial, but my body, particularly those traitorous lady pots downstairs, seem to have a mind of its own. I'm surprised I don't have a pool of drool at my feet right now. I feel like I should be on one of those documentaries about animals and heat on the Discovery Channel. I can imagine the commentary now. Here we have the not so elusive horny female. And it's hockey season, folks. Which means that mating season is also in session. And this particular female is looking to start hers out with a bang.
That was amazing.
I was practicing that in the mirror all night long to prepare for that.
Oh my God, that
Good
was
job.
fucking hilarious.
But that's the thing is, too, this book is funny.
It was.
It-
It was.
It was much funnier than I was expecting, particularly from, like, the description.
Yeah, it was surprisingly funny. Like, I didn't anticipate some of these, like, bangers. The thing was, it wasn't a level of consistent ha 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 the whole time. It was like serious storyline, very aggressive courting by Liam. And then all of a sudden, this humor thrown in that kind of was like, you're driving down the road, and all of a sudden someone hits you with their bumper car. And you're like, whoa, where am I going? Like,
Yeah.
It was unexpected and so pleasant at the same time
Mhm.
that I was like, oh, fuck, I like this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you needed it because some of the trauma stuff was so serious.
Yeah.
You know, the scar on her arm that most people thought, hey, she had some problems there. She didn't put it there.
Right. Her mother tried to kill her. And it was maybe, 3 times she
Yeah.
tried?
Multiple times.
But the last time she nearly succeeded.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, wow. Shit.
Yeah.
No wonder you have some issues. And also explaining why her family is so overprotective of her because they had all that guilt of they didn't realize it was happening until it was almost too late.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, as you're hearing about it, there was never conversation had after. Aaliyah had tons and tons and tons of therapy. Dad felt really bad. But the family never sat down and really talked through, Mom's gone. What happened? Like, are you okay? And just went to overprotective mode of her and sheltered her entire life.
So did Mommy go away to the farm?
She may have gone out to pasture. They kind of alluded to it, but never said.
Yeah.
It just said that Jacob made her go away, which was Aaliyah's death.
She and Jacob have a conversation at one point in the book, and she's like, I'm sorry I made mom go away. And he's like, no, you didn't make her go away. I made her go away.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say it outright. And there's that internal monologue that she has of like, did my father just tell me that he killed my mom? There doesn't get answered.
No.
Okay. So I think we know that answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She's sleeping with the fishes.
She's sleeping with the fishes.
More like she might be under the ice.
Yeah. Oh. Yep.
She's getting zambonied every day.
That's good. That's good. But to kind of go back, he was a little controlling. There was another part that my note was nope, 4 exclamation points, 2 controlling, 6 exclamation points.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, I want to hear this.
If I have that highlighted too.
I can't remember where they were going, but they were going somewhere, and she's all like, if you don't take me up to my room and fuck me right now, I'm going to go up there on my own, dig out one of my old vibrators and do it myself without you. And Liam goes, lead the way, babe. And she says to the reader, I know my boyfriend, and the thought of me pleasuring myself without him drives him freaking crazy. He wants to be the only thing to give me pleasure. It's one of his odd quirks, one I don't mind him having.
See, I don't see anything wrong with that at all, any way, shape, or form. I think it is that male machismo coming in. I don't foresee it as him being like, did you use your vibrator? Because now I'm not giving you any. I'm also the girl whose toes curl for an alpha male.
Right.
Those are alpha male traits. And I'm like, woohoo. Well, the two of you were like, nope. Exclamation point.
Well, I was about to say, I didn't actually take it that way. I think she just knows how to push his buttons in the way that she wants them to be.
To get the right reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because he wasn't like, fuck no, I'm going to fuck you. He was like, I'm coming.
I'm the one who's going to be the one to
Yeah.
give you pleasure. You don't need a toy. I'm here. You need me.
Yeah.
So that scene is actually a funny. Something happens. Aaliyah's in danger. The family's in danger. And Grayson, who is Aaliyah's older brother, who happens to be in the hockey team, says, you need to come home right now and bring Liam with you. So he was already in the fold. And they end up going to her family home, the dad's house.
Which she doesn't normally visit.
She doesn't normally visit.
Memories.
Mm-hmm.
And Jude has been threatened backwards and forwards. And Aaliyah's like, come fuck me in my childhood bedroom. He's like,
no.
Your brother and your father will shoot me right now. She's like, I don't care. Come fuck me.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe it wasn't all that controlling. It was kind of friendly play, I guess.
Talk is talk, and talk can be very hot when someone is asserting themselves in that manner. He didn't give red flags of being like, I'm going to lock you in a closet and only let you out when I say you can be let out. I think there's a difference, but I find that assertive alpha male hot. And if there's ever a point where you cross the line, I'm like, you fucking crossed the line with that. You better back up. I'm also someone to be vocal on that. So that turn on to me. Check mark. Hello.
So, okay. They're hot. They're sexy. They're fucking like rabbits. And also, you know how I feel about the mushy gushy. There was mushy gushy in here too.
Yeah.
Guys, the diner.
The diner.
And she did it like not thinking of
Yeah.
it. She just was like, okay, we're going to eat. We're going to go to my favorite place and we're going to go have a foodgasm.
Yeah.
And she introduced him to the foodgasm.
But I think what I loved the most about it is she got her typical, like, whatever, burger, fries, onion rings, and a strawberry shake. And he's like, yeah, me too. And he's like, I normally don't eat like this. So because we got to see stuff from his perspective, so every chapter went pretty much Liam, Aaliyah, Liam, Aaliyah. So you got both sides of the coin. Even though he was saying those aggressive things, he was falling head over heels for her.
Yeah.
To the point where he ate a burger, fries on a day where he had to go skate the next morning at dark 30, and he ate it with her.
Yeah, well, because normally he's trying to keep himself healthy and fit and fed well. And he was just like, I'll just have to work out twice as hard tomorrow. oh boy, you know, and he really loved her. It was really cute. He was a giant mush.
Yeah.
He's just like, this girl has my heart tied to hers. I haven't figured out how or when to say those words to her. Yeah, like there's so many quotes throughout the book that I highlighted that are just like, oh my God, he's obsessed with her in the really cutest way.
Yeah. And I love that he sees how fiery she can be. He thinks she's really hot when she's pissed off.
Yeah.
Which can be fucking annoying because my husband used to say that all the time. I'd be fucking yelling at him and just crazy. And he's like, you're so hot right now. I'm like, not now.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm trying to talk to you about things. Yeah, but you're so damn cute when you're hot. And that's all I could think of when he was talking about that.
wish that would happen to me.
But also, he saw her fragile side and the demons, so there were the nightmares. So he tried to comfort her through the nightmares. And then when there were the fights on the ice and he'd look up and she was gone and his brother's like, she can't see the blood. He's like, oh yeah. And he talks to her about that later. Like she doesn't skate because she's afraid of the blades and blood. And he wants her to get through those demons. So what's he do?
My God.
He takes her skating.
I was like,
It's so cute.
oh, you
so
big ass teddy
cute.
bear, you. He's like, we'll do this together. And I'm like,
I want to go skating with you.
I know.
Yeah.
But again, is this a typical thing in all hockey books? Is there a skating scene always?
In the ones that I've read, I don't think, especially where he said to her 3 times, you own a professional hockey team. And she's like, my father does. He's like, you own a professional hockey team and you don't like skating? You don't like this? I think he was trying to make light of her situation and bring her to it. But there's not always. I mean, sometimes there is. You've probably watched some of those very classic early 2000 figure skater hockey movies.
No.
You never did?
Oh, no.
Yeah. DB Sweeney and oh my God. Oh, I can't remember what the fuck it's called. The Cutting Edge.
Oh my God. I have not seen that in
Oh my God.
years.
Maybe that was 1992. Oh my God. But she's a figure skater. He's a bad boy hockey player.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the best reputation. She's an ice princess. She loses her partner. They got to go to the Olympics and somehow, some way, he gets embroiled in being her partner and he has to learn how to figure skate. And they go to the Olympics, they win, and they fall in love. Hello. Does that sound a little familiar?
Yes.
God, I was a sucker for that shit.
And still are.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Right.
Bad habits don't die off, do they?
Yeah, that's okay though. I did enjoy the growing romance. And, you know, them having to keep it quiet in the beginning because he was afraid that either Grace and her older brother, who's also the captain of the team, would fuck him up.
Yeah.
He's new to the team, so if he pisses off the team, say goodbye to the last chance of his career.
Has anybody looked up, is there a book about Grayson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
mama.
is book one out of a 4-book series. Grayson is next. And if you read, you find out who the female interest is. There's
Grayson
connection
and
to that.
Catherine.
And then book 3, if I'm not mistaken, has to do with one of the Valentino brothers who
Correct.
own another NHL team. Then they've been touch your nose with your finger friends for a period of time. And then the 4th book is about somebody who may pop up in the
Luke.
2 other books.
It's about Luke.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about, was he the left wing, right wing? He's one of the 4.
He's part of the trio of Grayson, Luke, and Liam. They're all the 3 stars on the team.
Grayson was hot.
Hot. Yeah.
So are you going to read about Grayson?
I think I might need to read about Grayson.
Okay, so Liam's trying to rehabilitate his reputation. He's got Aaliyah as his PR person. They're doing all these public events. One of the things he does is he goes to do a thing with the youth hockey league. And there's one girl on the youth team, and she wants to get his picture and stuff. And he's like, yeah, you can do it. You're the best skater here. They do the publicity picture. And then later on, Grayson's like, who's this? I don't know. It's the girl from the thing. I think her name was Gracie. Which that was a little on the nose.
It was, but I didn't catch it until way later.
Yeah.
So.
And so it's implied that it was his college sweetheart. And the timeline lines up for the age of this child. So
that it could be.
So that's
potentially
technically
his
what
daughter.
book 2 could possibly
Uh-huh.
be.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated by these books that are series and you get these little hints of the side characters. And as I'm reading the book now, I'm doing this thing where I'm like, okay, who are the next books going to be about?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, are we going to do all of the brothers of the Monroes? Are we going to do all of the teammates?
But you didn't hear about the other two brothers as much. I think Vinny was in it a little bit and Jonah. It was a little bit, but not as much as Grayson was. So it makes sense. The author has you be invested in some of these sub-characters so that you want to keep going in it.
Absolutely.
So that story kind of got plotted out in book 1. You're like, yeah.
It's a formula that works. We've unfortunately shown that.
Started with 1 and went all the way to 4.
Yeah, so.
I think what I really loved about this book and what was super, super surprising to me is I was expecting a hockey book. Like, again, I just got off reading a rugby book where there was a rugby player from Scotland who was vacationing here in the U.S. at his friend's place and blah, blah, blah. They got together and I was expecting it to follow suit with that. Just really light, romantic, aggressive male sports figure. The layers in this book, I think, were surprising. The humor, the romance, the trauma, the relationship building. I think all of this, I was like, wow, this book actually threw me for a loop.
And it was good. I read it in 2 days.
Yeah, it was a super, super fast read.
With a full-time job, I read it in 2 days.
Because it was still a light, easy read.
Yeah.
And I have to say, one of the things I really enjoyed was a lot of the times the sex scenes were sexy, but they were also funny.
Yeah.
And sometimes the best sex does happen when you're like laughing
Mm-hmm.
and then it gets serious. So let's see if our sexy stud can be both sexy and funny.
I slide her panties down her legs, spread those thighs wide open, and stare down at her glistening lips. My mouth goes dry. Fuck, you're beautiful. I sigh. Me or my pussy? Both, but I was talking to her. Give me a minute. She and I have some business to attend to, I say, as I crouch down and lower my face to her mound. I'm fucking obsessed with you. It's like you've put a damn spell over me I just can't shake. And your taste, best fucking thing I've ever had in my mouth. I talk directly to her cunt. Really? I find that hard to believe, Aaliyah says. I look up. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to her. Stop interrupting, princess. She laughs and lies back on the mattress. Well, don't let me keep you from your riveting conversation, she grumbles, with a sarcastic wave of a hand. I refocus my attention on her pussy, dragging my tongue up from the bottom to the top. My lips close around her clit, sucking it into my mouth. I groan as I bury my face against her. There's something about her scent, her taste, that just has me ensnared in its trap, although I'm not exactly looking for a way out either. Aaliyah's hips buck off the bed. She reaches up and pulls a pillow over her face as she screams into it. She's so responsive to my touch all the time. She fucking comes so easily. I love it. I continue licking and sucking and nibbling on her until her hands pull my head away.
So, hot and funny.
Hot and funny. Yeah. I liked her response, the wave of the hand.
Yeah.
She's witty. She matches his wit. They have good banter. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. This book had a lot of very subtle, smutty moments. And it was interesting because there were moments where I was like, okay, yeah, we're doing sexy things. Great. And I just had a moment where I was like, wait a minute. When was the last time I read about a blowjob? Never. Never? Question mark? They never really go in depth about a blowjob.
Maybe not in the books we've read so far.
Right.
Well, you have to realize these books are written for women receiving the acts of service, not
Yeah.
as much giving
It's
the
true.
acts of service. Where to me, I'm happy with both.
Yeah.
I am a giver and a receiver. I am an equal opportunity employer. Okay.
Yes.
So I am fine with both. And there is something hot about being able to give pleasure to somebody else. So I'm game. You want to throw it in there? Give me a tip or trick? Let's do it.
Absolutely. So they do pretty well-rounded blowjob scene in this
Yes.
book.
Yeah.
And we got some titty fucking in this book.
I
Oh.
know. I read that and I was like, oh.
Oh,
Yes.
titty
Titty
fucking.
fucking, yep.
I know.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was the first
Yeah.
one we've gotten. And it also changed my perception about what she looked like, too. Because I was like, oh, she's a little bit more full up there than I had imagined. Okay, hold on. I got to reshape what she looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I pictured her curvy.
I did too. I did too.
I don't know what I was imagining, but everything was a little bit blurry, and then that shaped it out pretty nicely. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah.
See, now, okay, they were doing all this, keeping it quiet for weeks because of all the reasons. And as they were keeping it quiet, I'm like, you keep going to the apartment that the team's paying for and her apartment with security systems with cameras?
Yeah.
Of course, this is an
secret
overprotective dad and brothers. You're telling me there's no cameras?
Right. So, what do we think? Do you think she had it as well hidden as she thought?
Oh, no.
Oh,
No.
well, we sure as hell find out she didn't. I mean, it was fucking stupid of her
Yeah.
to not think that her dad was going to look at those cameras. Mm-mm.
I think he knew. I also think he sent Jonah over
Yeah.
to check in on things because he shows up out of nowhere. They don't really explain why he was away from school. He's like, I'm here to help a friend with some stuff. Yeah, no, Dad sent him over.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that was leading to one of her three friends, that somehow Jonah had gotten embroiled with them. And then when I looked at what the other books were about, I'm like, okay, maybe I was reading into that a little
might
bit more
Have
than
it open.
or it may be a sublayer in the Grayson book.
Yeah.
Mm.
I got to go read book 2. I'll report back.
Well, I absolutely love the few moments that we realize that Daddy Warbucks Monroe is actually on board with Liam as the partner for her.
The scene in the plane
The scene in the plane, like, oh, these chocolates, she really likes them.
when she's stressed and mad.
Yeah.
I just give her these and she's all good. And Liam's like, I'm going to order cases of them.
I was a little shocked at that, though, but it was a nice, pleasant little layer on top of it. You're like, oh, Dad brought you to the team and realizes this is all just what the rest of the world sees, that this is not who this guy is. He is not Liam fucking King 7 times in the book, but that's okay.
Right.
Take a drink. Every time Liam fucking King, or how many times does she bring up, like, I don't want to touch your dick. It's probably full of STDs.
Oh my God, yes, that
the
was a bunch
other
of times.
one. Between the two of them, we'd be on the floor if we were drinking.
So I get if this is a hockey book and a professional athlete has a persona. But I kept saying, like, he was addressed as Liam King, full name, first name, last name, 51 times in the book.
No shit. You looked it up?
51. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's a good last name. Don't you feel like if you knew somebody named Liam King, you would just call them Liam King?
It is a strong name, and I get the sports persona and that personality, and I get it because You don't go ahead and talk about LeBron James and just go LeBron, right?
Yeah, you do.
I don't. Michael Jordan. You don't just go Mikey.
Or
true.
Tom Brady.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's true, Tom.
Yeah. So I think it's about that professional athlete persona. So I kind of got it. But I was like, oh, Liam King.
I don't know.
Liam King.
In my house, Tom Brady is Tommy. So. Tell me.
Did you see Tommy today?
Yeah.
No.
I kid you not. He is Tommy in my house. We live in the Northeast, folks.
What was the giveaway that I park my car?
So, Liam fucking King,
Take a drink.
take a drink.
Yep.
By the way, check our social medias for today's drink. We've gone with The Enforcer, which is a whiskey ginger. We're our own little twist on it. We've got some fantastic... Bertie, what are the cherries?
They're the sexiest fucking Luxardo cherries ever.
Excellent.
That's one fucking good looking tasty cherry.
Yeah. My goal is to someday own the gallon vat of them that's like $1,000.
We can go all in. Do you have storage at your house?
Yeah.
We'll just come over with a bucket. I'm here to get my cherries.
We'll start a Patreon just so that our
Yes.
listeners can help us buy the sexy cherries for the drinks.
Sexy cherries.
Listeners, please supply the cherries that we will pop every episode.
Oh.
Make yourself one of these tasty, tasty drinks. And wait for it, Liam fucking King.
Drink.
Drink. So, a question for you, specifically, Bertie,
Yeah.
because I know how you feel about words.
Oh.
And this book, I think, fluctuates between things. I hear it a lot of times in different books, like an author will pick, it's a pussy, not a cunt.
Right.
Or somebody has a cunt, not a pussy.
Right.
Dick versus cock. Dick versus cock.
Yep.
Do you have a preference?
Oh.
And does it affect how you read the book if they use the one you don't like?
That's a great question. I have certain words that I don't like. I do not like wet folds.
Huh.
No wet folds.
I don't like
Glistening
wet
folds?
folds.
Glistening folds, okay? Slick folds? Do you just not like folds?
I don't like folds.
Would you rather have lips?
No.
So then,
I don't know.
Slit? Seam?
Entrance maybe is okay.
But you have multiple of those. How are you going to get specific?
I mean, I guess you're right.
I
you're
put
right.
my penis at her entrance. Which one?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, but interesting. Okay.
So-
So no wet folds.
No wet folds. I don't know if I have a preference for
Cock or dick?
cock, dick. I think I prefer cock. Dick sounds a little bit too crass in most cases. In this book, it sometimes felt appropriate because of the way he was just swaggering around. It felt appropriate, but I actually feel like I need to think about that more.
Okay.
But that's definitely something that I could write a full essay on.
I thought you people. I was going to say, because I prefer cock over dick. Dick is something that like swings around or somebody is a dick,
Yeah.
but I want to fuck a cock.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
But for me, pussy and cunt are pretty much interchangeable. I don't care. But I know some people who are like, I hate the C word. Don't ever say it.
Oh, I don't hate it.
Joe.
I don't fucking care.
I know.
I really don't care. I don't care as long as I know what body part it is.
Is there anything like that though for, Bertie,
No.
it was like folds? Is
No.
there ever anything that they say
No,
it and
you can
you're
say
like,
moist, you can say whatever, as long as it is, I think the repetition will get me. If you do it once or twice, I'm okay. If
Yeah.
you're hitting 5 or 6 times and any repetitious thing you're saying, quivering, heaving, it becomes a little too much for me and I feel like you're being kitschy, which is funny because Bertie, I have something for you. A couple of episodes back, we started to talk about a particular body part that some authors use. And I was like, oh, fuck. This is a little treasure hunt in this book. I wonder if Bertie's going to catch it. But we only got 2 rippling in this book. Only 2. I actually had a little scratch pad going, and I was like, 1, page 19. And then I was like, oh, page 79. We got 2. How many can I find? How many can I find? See if Birdie can find. It was only 2, though. So we had his back was rippling with muscles and his shirtless muscles rippling under the overhead lights. So
yes.
2 is okay. Anything more than that, I just feel like that's what my brain then starts to look for. Those catchphrases like, I am a normal person. I'm not heavy into using extensive vocabulary. If I have to look up a word when I'm reading, it is immediately like the Sahara Desert between my legs. You have just brought me to a point where I'm looking at a fucking dictionary while I'm reading a dirty romance novel. That is just not my cup of tea. So thank you. Have a nice day. Moving on.
I was going to say, when I read the rippling, I was like, oh, but they didn't say rippling abs.
Right.
It's fine.
Right.
It's good.
I allowed it. The rippling abs. I allowed it. The rippling abs is my biggest problem.
And I think sometimes when you are really enjoying a book and there are some of those things that maybe make you twitch, you're like, that's okay because 98% of this is pretty damn solid.
Right.
So I got to bring up, I feel like there was a missed opportunity with the end of this book. Now, I'm not going to go in depth with what happens at the end of the book because for me, I really want our listeners to go and read the book. And if they read it, they already know what happened. Great, no surprises to you. But if you haven't and you are wondering if you should read this book, go and read it. But I don't want to fuck it up for you. I want you to fuck it up on your own. But the end of this book, a lot of movement and action happens. There is a kind of a suspense, a moment where people are going after them. And I feel like all of a sudden, it was like we watched an action movie that was over in 3 pages. I think so much could have been done with that.
Yeah, we needed like at least another 10 pages to flesh out like the sequence of events.
Yeah.
It was like, do this action, don't do this action or else somebody will get hurt. Oh my God, the thing already happened. Okay, everything's happening. Whoa.
I mean, she had done a really great job of pacing the book because they had been through an entire hockey season, which is what, 5 months, 4 months when you think about it. Start to finish, that their relationship was building and how she was giving you a little timelines here and there and showing you throughout the progression of it. I just felt like those last couple of scenes could have just been drawn out and it could have just been more about the connection that happened with the 2 of them.
Yes.
And how the story ended up playing. I just think that was a missed opportunity.
Kylie, you could have just an epilogue.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's about that time.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my God.
Nerds.
We really have started to go there, haven't we?
Ooh. How did that happen? Is that just...
That's just me being
that's
a
Birdie.
fucking nerd.
That's the dirty birdie who started it. And then we're just like, oh, I want to be part of that too.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
And now I just always think of it when I hear, all right, it's time for dishing into dames.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got?
So since we have moved our locale today to somewhere different with an absolutely beautiful view, I have to know, are we team sex on the beach or are we team no fucking way?
N-O.
Oh, why?
Sand. Sand.
No. All right. Let me back up just a little bit. No sex on the beach. In the water? Okay.
I'm still
There's
a hard
still
no.
sand in the water.
Nah.
Yeah. There's still sand
There's
out there.
still sands, man. Yeah. And if you're moving and thrashing and thrusting, the sand is moving upward and it is going into crevices that it should not be going. Have I done it? Yes. Did I regret it after? Completely. I didn't know sand could get in those spots.
I mean, I also just general being underwater. You can get water shoved up in there and get a serious infection. I don't know how I feel about that.
You know, sometimes I'm not necessarily thinking about that in the heat of the moment.
That I am absolutely thinking about that.
I'm one of those that maybe doesn't think and then just has to deal with the fucking
Did you
repercussions after.
Do anything young and dumb.
Yeah, but none of it was underwater.
My entire 20s were spent young and dumb and underwater. And in the back of trucks. And okay, I'm going to stop right there.
But no, on the actual beach, no.
No fucking way.
Sand.
Why is it they make it look so amazing in one of the movies? The water crashing, your body moving with
I've said this before, I'll say it again. All photography is a lie.
So I think the listeners need to chime in on this. You better jump in our social medias or leave us a comment at the Lusty Library Pod on Instagram and Facebook. All you have to do is go beach, yes or no. I'm really curious to what the vote is. There's going to be some listener out there who's like, yes, it's the best thing ever. Natural exfoliants.
Or that person has found the secret way to do it.
And I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know what the secret is.
Give us the technique.
Yes.
I mean, there are so many wonderful places in this world to be explored.
I mean, variety is the spice of life. So at least I try not to be closed-minded. I'm a firm believer if it's within my comfort zone, I am going to try it. I don't want to say, oh my God, never, and have never done it, because sometimes you're surprised yourself in some of the things where you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Hello, Mafia hockey book, ladies.
Yeah,
Mafia hockey book,
Yep.
right?
Yep. True.
That is just proof in the pudding there.
True.
All right, my friends, I think it's time to hit the scoreboards.
That was excellent.
Are you okay?
It was good.
I was looking away at my notes and you hit the scoreboards, and I don't know why. Coming out of your mouth, it was
Sports.
touchdown, field goal, goal.
Go. Oh, missed opportunity.
For what?
In this book or in this podcast, when they actually fucked and there was an orgasm, there was
could have been goal. Red light flashing. The puck landed in the net, baby.
Let's take a look at this. So let's start with the smut. What do you have for a score, Miss Joey?
I went with a 3.75.
For smut?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Could it have been just a little bit better? Yes. So the first mark of sex, even though his shillelagh was a swinging in page 2 of the book, there was no shillelagh being put in, no shenanigans happening. So it was about 50% of the book when we first had sex happen. Would I have liked a little bit more? Yes, we did have some different things in there, but it was good.
It was good.
It was good. Goal. Score.
What about you, Berber?
Yeah, I am going to say 3.5. It was good. I liked the variety of sexual things that they did.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't super kinky, but I liked the blowjob scene. I thought it was well done. I liked the titty fucking. I liked, the different moments, but I feel like it went really fast. We didn't get very many multi-page sex scenes that were really drawn out that let you get real steamed up. So it didn't leave me like, whew, afterwards. It was just like, okay, I'm reading a sex scene. Great. All right. Spicy a little bit. Yeah, great. But it wasn't like I'm reading and I look over my book at my hubby across the sofa and I'm like, what up?
You didn't have chicken skin breaking it.
No.
I mean, you were just like, oh, maybe I should turn the AC up a little bit. Nothing over like 74 degrees.
Right. So.
Yeah, same. I'm giving it a 3 because the spice is there. They have sex. It's not like some of the books we've read where we get up to 80% into the book and then it's finally there. Also, it didn't quite have a slow burn either. I like to call it book foreplay. They wanted each other from the very beginning and you knew it was eventually going to happen. It wasn't like you were like smooshing their faces together to make it happen. You're just like, yeah, I'm just waiting. Checking my watch, but it's there. So I give it a 3.
Yeah.
But romance, I feel is a little different. Bertie, I'm looking at you this time.
Yeah, so the romance I thought was pretty good. There was one quote, actually, that I want to read about the romance that kind of summed it up for me. So she says, I don't need the whole fairy tale princess wedding I once envisioned for myself. All I need is him, which is exactly how I know Liam King truly is my one. I love you. I lean up and lightly brush my lips over his. I used to think hockey was the greatest love of my life. I didn't need anything as long as I could play. I was wrong, so fucking wrong, because you, Aaliyah Monroe, are it for me. You are my greatest love.
That was the last line of the book. It was fucking perfection.
It was great.
Yeah.
So they were both so happy with each other. I don't like to be reminded that she's 24, however. It kind of dampens the romance for me.
Now, why is that?
Because I think about how stupid and idiotic I was when I was 24. And I think about how I wasn't a fully formed human at that age. And so for me, projecting, it makes it feel not great. But otherwise, I think it was a really cute romance and I really enjoyed them together and I liked their banter and I thought they were charming. And I love the way he went after her and he cared so deeply about her and she was safe in his arms and she could sleep through the night and she didn't have any nightmares. It was very cute. So it's a strong 4. I almost want to say 4.25.
Hey, hey, Bertie.
Hey.
Can I tell you something?
What?
I was 24 when I got married.
But you're special.
But this is where I'm going to disagree with you on this. So she has been through a lot.
Yes.
She grew up in a family that wasn't maybe necessarily doing the rightest things. I think her maturity level, even though she's a spoiled, I think she's leaps and bounds above her maturity. So she's a complex individual.
It's life experience.
Yes.
No,
yes.
it's true.
And she experienced more than a lot of other people, but she's also being coddled at the same time. So it's that weird dichotomy.
Yeah. It's only about me and my life being projected onto this. So it has nothing to do with anybody else and their age. It's just about me thinking about my own dumb ass. So.
Joey, romance.
4 all the way. Mm-hmm. So what I find really interesting is that the complexity in a mafia fucking hockey book was intense. These people were real in the situations that they had gone through in their life. Okay, it may have been portrayed a little extreme, but they had some damage. They had some history. They had some growing in the way they came together and how he cared about her and how supportive he was of her and how supportive she was of him in his career and everything he did. I mean, it was real.
Yeah.
Fucking mafia hockey book.
It was.
Blew me away how surprising it was. And I loved the romance. And I think that's why we enjoy these books, right? You put yourself in there and that author has done an amazing job of just creating this story for you that you connect with a character that is written down. And you kind of go through everything that they go through within page 1 to 385. And then you close it and you have felt a bit of emotion within that process. So I really enjoyed this book. Surprisingly, it was a 4.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much I actually liked this book, particularly with the way it started off. I was like, uh-oh, am I going to like? And then I did. I was in. I gave the romance a 4 also. And because I actually feel like the romance was what was driving this book. Even in the sex scenes, they had that one sex scene. I think it's the first time they have sex. And he's like, I won the game by 5 goals, so you get 5 orgasms.
Yeah.
And he was really going for it. And it started off really hot, really passionate, lusty. And then after orgasm 3, then he started getting romantic.
Yes.
And it started getting too intimate for her.
Yeah.
So she tried to fake number 4.
Yes.
And
I
he
love that.
Stopped. And he brought her around and was like, what are you doing? And she's like, what? And he's like, why are you faking it? What did I do wrong? Are you okay? Like that.
That was great. Oh my God.
How did
we forget that?
We were about to wrap this whole thing without talking about that moment. That is such a good moment.
I was going to make sure we talked about that.
Okay, great.
When she says like, this is just fucking, you're getting too close. And he removes himself, calms down because like, this isn't just fucking for me. Wait, why am I feeling that way? I should be happy that she just wants this to be sex. So the fact that it's his point of view and he wants it to be romantic. Ugh, that's my mush and gush right there. So 4.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, 4. No, I almost pushed it over. But I'm like, no, 4.
See, but now I'm wondering, do I give that extra 2.5? I mean, it was sweet and it was romantic. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So, well, you get an opportunity with story. How'd you feel?
All right. So again, the story's a vessel that carries you through all the other components. It's a 3. That mafia component mixed into hockey, didn't think it could work. It worked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm baking this cake and let's see if it rises. But it worked. So 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say 2.75, but I don't think that gives it enough credit because I was definitely held captive enough by the story that it moved it so fast.
Yeah. I
read a good 48% of it the first night I started reading it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I gotta go to bed. Gotta go to bed. And then the next day it was the same way. I was like, oh man, I want to find out what happens next. So I feel like I'll probably also need to give it a 3. The reason I'm hesitating so much is simply because it's hockey mafia.
Oh.
And I just can't get over that because I was so ready for it to be absolutely awful and for me to be like making fun of myself for reading it.
See, and to me, when you say that, that sounds like a point to raise it higher because it exceeded your expectation.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah.
As opposed to reacting to a label you've put on it and gone, that label should mean trash. But it wasn't trash.
No.
It was not. It was not. So I'm going to give it a solid 3. Solid 3 for the story.
All right. Yeah. I'm also giving it a 3 for a very similar reason in that, like, I picked it. I saw it on the list and I went, that sounds hilarious. I thought I was going to just laugh my ass off through the whole thing. And I actually really ended up being, like, into the characters and caring. We've read a couple of books where I'm like, I do not give a shit about these characters. You know, I'm picturing other characters in their place so that I can find it hot. And I wasn't doing that with these guys. Kylie did a very fun mashup. And I might actually go read a couple of the other ones when I've got some downtime because they're nice, quick reads. Am I going to fill my library with hockey romance? Probably not. But am I glad that I ventured into this area? Absolutely. Am I glad that this is the person that introduced me to it? Yeah. Thanks, Kylie. Nice solid 3.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's drop the puck on this. What's your overall rating? It's not going to stop. I'm going to make these terrible dad hockey jokes the whole time. You did this to me. Joey.
I'm giving this 4 eggplants.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I liked this book.
Wow.
I liked the characters. To me, this is what I call a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
You know, you just come off a 75,000-page romantasy book that had this complex world and vampires and werewolves and fairies, oh my. Or a dark romance or something that is just really deep. And you get this. That is a fun, easy read. That is captivating. That has surprising depth to it. I'm usually the first one to read all the books as we prepare. And then I'm like, okay, I'll go back and reread it before we record. But I was late to the party in this one. And the first time I sat down, I got to the 75%
wow.
of the book. And I was only giving myself 2 hours to read. And here I go. And I'm like, oh, I haven't even eaten dinner yet. What is happening now? So I need to go back. It was surprising and it was enjoyable. And I will proudly give this a 4. I think Kylie did a great job and I want to read more of her. And I going to the beach tomorrow. We're going to read a Kylie Kent book. So ready to go.
All right. Yeah. I think it is in itself a 3.5, but would I also want to go read more of her books? Yes. So it's a really strong 3.5.
I think this hockey mafia blend up makes you feel odd about it. And you know what?
I know.
I would have to agree that it did the same thing to me. So when I initially read it and I put my little emojis down, this got a 3.5 eggplant. I'm like, oh, I mean, I've taken some really in-depth books and brought them to the 4 level. I'm like, I don't care. I enjoyed this and I sent it to our text group. I'm like, wow, I'm really enjoying this book. It's okay that this book strikes you a little bit higher. It's all right. I feel like I'm always trying to talk you up to a realistic number about your scores.
Well, so here's my fear. My fear is that I'm going to go back and read 50 Shades and say, that wasn't that bad. Have my standards lowered?
No. And I would love to do this exercise as we wrap season 1 and we have a little bit of downtime. I want you to go back because there are so many amazing authors out there who can write a captivating story. Now, I think 50 Shades has a lot of value and merit because it really made a lot of this mainstream and it made it okay for women to read something that gives them pleasure and satisfaction. So E.L. James, take your success for doing that. I think it brought revitalization to a lot of women in relationships that they didn't know that they could do this with their husbands and have an enjoyable time. So there is something to be said about that one person that helped push that movement forward. But I am currently at 817 romance books read in the past 10 years. And I have read some really great authors, New York Times bestsellers in the romance category, all the way to independent authors. And they equally match up to them. So.
And I would also just put out there, live in the moment. How do you feel about this book at this moment? Because don't worry about what you're going to think in the future.
So maybe I would increase it to like a 3.75, but there are other books that I liked way more. Like I ate this thing up. It was like candy, but it wasn't popcorn or potato chips, which are my crack.
Gotcha.
Okay. That's
so,
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I think just like when we watch movies, right? I think you have to be in the mood. Sometimes you're in the mood for a comedy. Sometimes you're in the mood for I'm in a mood for a documentary all the time. I don't know who I've become or a crime drama, right? You have to be in the mood for that. And this book is just very light that it helps you get through some of the darker moods. So
yeah, it's true.
And I think that's it. I was just in the mood for this week. This is just the kind of like light, fun thing I wanted. And at the same time, you know, it had a little bit more going on than just pop things. So I give it a 3.5.
Okay.
Which, as you know, for me is
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It just hit me just right. So,
and you know what just hit me? I'm going back and I'm thinking about this is our 8th book that we have done as a group, correct?
yes.
Yep.
Okay. I think all except for one book, I have rated everything the highest. Because we clearly know I love this genre and I enjoy
it's really
reading these books. They bring me a lot of fun, but I'm like, damn, you figure I'd be the harshest critic having the most experience. No, I'm just like, I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was great. It was fun. It gave me what I needed for that moment.
But that's the thing. Like the other day, I was messaging with somebody who had announced on their social media that they thought Liar Liar was the 3-star movie out of 5 stars. And I was like,
oh, the Jim Carrey movie?
Yeah. In my house, that's 5 stars. So that's the thing. Yeah. If it's your genre, if it's your guy, if it's your director, if it's your favorite whatever. So for you, this is your favorite genre. So you're going to rate almost everything higher than maybe we might. I don't know. So that makes complete sense to me.
And for me, this is all about the journey. Like, I'm getting the opportunity to try things on that I wouldn't have pulled off the shelf if somebody hadn't recommended it to me. And I love that expansion and seeing a new view. So it might not be my go-to every time from here on, but God, did I enjoy the journey. So, thanks.
And I am being completely selfish that I want people to talk to about all these books I read. I've had no one. So that I force you all to get together and read the same books and we can go ahead and talk about it is nothing but absolute pure and utter enjoyment for me. Rock on.
Listeners, please DM us. Please DM us so that Joey has people to talk to besides us. For the love of Pete, send us a fucking message on Instagram, okay? Thank you.
Oh my God, you're funny.
Write us a letter.
Ooh.
Write us a letter. Send us an email. thelustylibrarypodcast@gmail.com.
I thought you were actually like a real snail mail.
I mean, I would like that too, but I'm not going to give anybody my fucking address. So I would really enjoy that. Maybe someday.
We'll get there.
We would love a letter with perfumed and written with a calligraphy pen, please. Thank you.
With a beautiful kiss lipstick mark.
Yes. Yes. We require.
And please do not cut out letters out of a magazine.
No. That's the other kind of letter that we absolutely do. We want that. We want all your creativity, folks.
Oh my God. All right.
Address it to Birdie at the Dirty Dames.
So thanks for joining us. We loved having you here. If you have a book you think we should read, DM us on any of our social medias, Facebook page, Lusty Library Podcast. And thank you for being here. Bye.